Hello, and thank you for joining me for another episode of the podcast known as the Windy City Nitty Gritty. I'm your host, Walter Hefner. So, this episode wanted to talk about one of my favorite WWE wrestlers, the Undertaker. In particular, want to talk about the day the streak ended at WrestleMania. So, for anybody that's an Undertaker fan, I'm sure that affected you just like it affected me and any other wrestling fan, that year. So, WrestleMania, it happened at WrestleMania 30. WrestleMania 30 took place back on April 6th of 2014. But before I really go into details about that, I just want to give you a little brief information about The Undertaker. The Undertaker was born Mark Calloway. He began his wrestling career in 1987. Some of the early promotions he worked for were World Class Championship Wrestling and the USWA. He worked under the names The Master of Pain and The Punisher. In 1989, he would go to the National Wrestling Alliance, World Championship Wrestling, and compete as Mean Mark Callis. He would form a tag team with another wrestler named Dangerous Dan Spivey, known as the Skyscrapers. They were a tag team that was managed by Teddy Long. And in 1990, while in WCW, he pursued a solo career and had Paulie Dangerously, otherwise known as Paul Heyman, as his manager. Now, his most high-profile match at that time was at the Great American Bash 1990, when he wrestled Lex Luger for the United States Championship, and he lost that match to Lex Luger. Now, after that, he left WCW in early September of 1990. In October of 1990, he signed with WWE. He then made his debut at Survivor Series 1990 as part of Ted DiBiase's $1 Million Team. So, November of 1990, Survivor Series when The Undertaker debuted, and the character just took off from there, and, he had his various rivals at the time, wrestling the likes of Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. Now, we know Undertaker for, his casket matches, his Buried Alive matches, and the various Hell in a Cell matches that he's competed in. But a lot of us will know, or should I say a lot of us will always remember him for the streak. The streak is his win-loss record at WrestleMania, which is currently 24 wins and only 2 losses. So the streak started at WrestleMania 7 when he defeated the late Jimmy Superfly Snuka. At WrestleMania 8, he defeated Jake the Snake Roberts. WrestleMania 9, he defeated the late Giant Gonzalez. WrestleMania 11, he defeated the late King Kong Bundy. At WrestleMania 12, he defeated Diesel. WrestleMania 13, he defeated Psycho Sid. At WrestleMania 14, he defeated Kane. WrestleMania 15, he defeated Big Boss Man inside of a Hell in a Cell match. At WrestleMania 17, he defeated Triple H. WrestleMania 18, he defeated Ric Flair. At WrestleMania 19, he defeated the Big Show and A-Train in a handicap match. At WrestleMania 20, he defeated Kane. WrestleMania 21, he defeated Randy Orton. WrestleMania 22, he defeated Mark Henry in a casket match. WrestleMania 23, he defeated Batista. WrestleMania 24, he defeated Edge. At WrestleMania 25, he defeated Shawn Michaels. WrestleMania 26, he defeated Shawn Michaels. WrestleMania 27, he defeated Triple H. WrestleMania 28, he defeated Triple H inside of Hell in a Cell. WrestleMania 29, he defeated CM Punk. WrestleMania 30 was the first loss to Brock Lesnar. WrestleMania 31, he defeated Bray Wyatt. WrestleMania 32, he defeated Shane McMahon in a Hell in a Cell. WrestleMania 33, he lost to Roman Reigns. And then recently, WrestleMania 34, he defeated John Cena. So wanted to talk about today the first loss that took place at WrestleMania 30 against Brock Lesnar, because that first loss had its impact not just on fans, but the wrestling community as a whole. Now, again, Undertaker is known for this WrestleMania streak, and, a lot of people thought it would go for a long time, and when the streak would be broken, it would be broken by someone that, they were passing the torch to. So that was the expectation I saw from it. But, from my point of view, from watching it, was at my best friend's house, and, he puts on WrestleMania parties every year. So, this one was no different. We all got together, watching WrestleMania. And, the one main thing that we always look forward to was the Undertaker's match. No matter who he wrestled, it was something memorable to talk about. Undertaker became that one constant you can count on with watching WrestleMania. So, went into WrestleMania 30 and, just watching the match and, from the jump, it was a back and forth battle between Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. So, Brock Lesnar comes with an F5, at this point Taker kicks out. And then, the Undertaker came back with his various moves throughout the match, choke slam, tombstone, Hell's Gate, each man throwing their best at one another, and then Brock Lesnar came with another F5, in which Taker kicked out. But then, when it came to that third F5, we're all expecting and assuming, okay, Undertaker's going to kick out. He's going to do his comeback as usual, hit a strong tombstone, and defeat Brock Lesnar. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So after that third F5, and the ref counted 3, everybody was just caught off guard by that. Now, here we are thinking and assuming that, did Paul Heyman pay off the referee like in the storyline? Did he pay off the referee? Did the referee fast count The Undertaker? So we're thinking and assuming that The Undertaker got fast counter, got cheated out of the match, and it's just a look of shock and surprise. We're thinking, did Undertaker not did he miss the count? Was he supposed to kick out? Was he supposed to, shoot his shoulder off the ground? Did he not follow the ref's count to kick out? So we're thinking that the finish was botched, and thinking that that wasn't supposed to happen. But come to find out later on that there was a small circle inside WWE that knew that the streak was going to come to an end at WrestleMania 30. So, didn't sit too well with me and my friends, didn't sit too well with the fans in the arena. As you can see, it's like a silence just came over that crowd. It's like the wrestling world just stopped for that brief moment of time, from the time the 3 count was made to the time that The Undertaker got back up to his feet after Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman left ringside. So, again, with that match, it had its impact on wrestling fans, wrestling community as a whole, and, it was just sent shockwaves throughout the world as a whole. The ending of the streak was one of the main things that everybody was talking about that whole week, and for the whole month for that matter. And, it just took the wind out of everybody that was a wrestling fan. I know some people that, just said they just stopped watching after Undertaker lost that match. There were some people, that may have left the arena after that match as well, because, a lot of people look forward to watching and seeing certain wrestlers, especially someone as big and popular as The Undertaker, So, like I said, that match had its impact and had its toll on wrestlers, wrestling fans, wrestling community overall, and it was a hot topic, that whole week, that whole month, for that matter, and then I have a wrestling DVD Blu-ray collection. The main DVD in my collection is WrestleMania. So I do have the anthology set that goes from WrestleManias 1 to 22. Then I have the others on DVD and Blu-ray. And, I would always look forward to getting the WrestleMania DVDs, after watching WrestleMania. But it was just something different about getting the WrestleMania 30 DVD, especially knowing that Undertaker lost that match. Because every time I would get the Mania DVDs, the first match I would watch is Undertaker's match, But this time with WrestleMania 30, I just couldn't bring myself to do that. So I ended up watching, Daniel Bryan's match against Triple H first, as well as, his triple threat against Randy Orton and Batista for the championship. Now, mind you, I watched every other match on that DVD, but just couldn't bring myself to watching that Undertaker-Brock Lesnar match. I just didn't want to believe it or accept the fact that, the streak ended. I'm still thinking to myself, okay, there was a mistake, there was a botch somewhere. So all the time I had the DVD, it took me about 2 months to, go back and just watch that match on the DVD. And even while I'm watching the match, I'm, slowing down and rewinding at certain points. I'm like, okay, what happened here? Did somebody botch something? Did somebody screw up something? I'm still thinking, that somebody botched something in the finish, but WWE has a way of hitting you with that old saying, all good things must come to an end, because, they hit us hard with that one. So, all good things must come to an end, everything doesn't last forever. So, the streak was bound to end, but, like I said, I'm assuming and thinking to myself that the streak would have ended, as a means of passing the torch on to another wrestler to break Undertaker's streak, who is Brock is already established and a veteran. And, that honor to break the streak should have went to somebody else that was up and coming, at the time, if they could have saved it for Roman Reigns to have been the one to break the streak, that would have been nice, or even another up and coming wrestler to have been the one to say that they broke the Undertaker's streak. But, Brock Lesnar, didn't need to break the streak. He was already established as it is, he was already a threat to the championships as it was, so there was really no need for him to be the one to break the streak. But in the end, as I said, with that, it changed a lot of things for, wrestling and wrestling fans. Now, there was a special on WWE Network, a episode of WWE 24 about WrestleMania 30, in which they did, talk about the ending of the streak. However, given the amount of time that's passed, I would really love to see a Blu-ray DVD that talks about the streak. I'd love to hear from The Undertaker, Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, and hear from those on the inside that knew that the streak was coming to an end, along with The Undertaker. And even if you can go back to New Orleans and find some of those fans that were in attendance and in the crowd when the streak ended, and get their thoughts and opinions as a matter, and even, get the opinions of all the WWE wrestlers that were in the back watching the match, because I'm sure not only the crowd was shocked, but I'm sure there were a lot of wrestlers, male and female, that were in shock and surprise as well, that didn't see it coming, because, again, it was a real small circle that knew about the streak coming to an end. So it was a surprise to the fans in attendance as well as the wrestlers in the locker room at the time. So I would love to hear from them, and just have a DVD to talk about the end of the streak, feature some of the matches from the streak as well on the DVD. Now, they did release a DVD prior to the streak ending, so there was a DVD release of just the WrestleMania matches in Undertaker's career, where it went up to 21-0, I believe, with that DVD. So, they did release a DVD on that, but I think it is a good time. Enough time has passed. A lot of fans have come to grips with it and come to accept it. I think this would be the perfect time to release a DVD to go back to that moment and just, like I said, talk with Taker, talk with Brock, Paul Heyman, Vince McMahon, Triple H, Bruce Pritchard, and whoever else was in on, the streak ending, as well as hearing from, the WWE wrestlers.